I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from New York, the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Mr. Meeks.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose this measure. First, let the record be clear. There is no question that we all support Israel. Fact of the matter is, Chairman McCall and I worked very hard together to make sure that there was one voice on the very first vote, once the Speaker was selected, to say that we all support Israel, bringing us together. You know, there are some decisive votes that we take as members of Congress that will stick with us. And one of those votes is this one, H.R. 6126. Congress has a proud bipartisan tradition of acting rapidly to pass emergency funding for critical national security needs. This legislation breaks that long and important tradition. Once we set the precedent of conditioning assistance to partners and allies in essential fights with poison pills, it is hard to go back. We can't unring that bell. We have stood in a bipartisan way to prevent conditioning of aid to Israel, and yet here we are considering a bill today that does exactly that. Disappointingly, this bill doesn't include the $9.15 billion the administration had requested to address global humanitarian needs, including Gaza, undermining our values and the Biden administration's careful diplomacy and bipartisan support for Israel. We are a nation that aims to use its power for good in this world. That has been our guiding principle, drawn from the lessons learned when we look away. Mr. Speaker, we can't afford to look the other way as Ukraine faces a vital moment and critical munitions shortfalls. We can't afford to look the other way as countries in the Indo-Pacific are looking to the United States for leadership as we engage in strategic competition with China. Are we prepared to signal to the world that we're looking away? Mr. Speaker, let's reject this bill, which trades our long-term national security for a fleeting political advantage. And let's get back to work.
Gentleman yields. Gentlelady from Connecticut reserves. Gentlelady from Texas